Okay.
Okay, sit there. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order of Point Eyre Village Council. It's Tuesday, February the 27th, 2024, and it's 5 o'clock. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. Is there anyone with pecuniary interest?
None known.
We'll move on to planning. And we have one agenda item. And we have Jared
Preston.
Jared Preston here from County of Lambton, who does our planning work. So could I have someone, a motion to invite Jared into the bar?
Also moved.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, Jared, come in and join us, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, members, council, for inviting me up. So recently, about 2 weeks ago, we got a proposal from an applicant regarding the property on 1455 Venetian Boulevard. Now, just a history of the location. It's the former Ontario Tourism Information Center that is now currently vacant. And he has come to propose to put in a indoor play facility for children. And so right now, all I have received is a executive summary for the proposal and a floor plan. So all I've had with the applicant is preliminary discussions so far. On Thursday, I will be meeting with him as well as with building services to go over application requirements. Currently, the site is zoned institutional. So it allows public uses such as like schools, hospitals, passive recreation uses. So this type of proposal for a indoor recreational play facility would not fall under that zone. And it's also designated major institutional. So it only permits those similar uses. So the applicant would have to go through a OPA and zoning bylaw amendment. And due to the location as well, there might be other requirements from county public works and building services may have other requirements, as well as we may have other requirements on the planning end of things when we get further into discussions, and then we can update you as we go there. If you don't mind, I could share the proposal in a cover letter that I've received, if that's all right with you guys. So the overview is, so the property on 14.5 Venetian Boulevard, and this is the words of the applicant, is an exciting, innovative, he's proposing an exciting, innovative indoor play facility designed to provide a safe and engaging environment for children aged 2 to 12, with a focus on promoting active play, creativity, and social interaction. Our facility offers a range of play structures, games, and activities that cater to the diverse needs and interests of young children. Our mission is to create memorable experiences for families while fostering the development of essential skills in children. And so their business model revolves around offering admission-based access to our indoor play, hosting birthday parties, and providing a comfortable space for parents to relax and socialize. We also plan to incorporate additional revenue streams through concessions, merchandise sales, and potential partnerships with local businesses for mutually beneficial promotions. The market for indoor places is robust, driven by an increasing awareness among parents regarding the importance of physical activity and socialization for their children. We have conducted through market research indicating a high demand for such facilities in Lambton County. Our strategic location, comprehensive offerings, and commitment to safety set us apart in the competitive market. So they say the facility will feature state-of-the-art play structures, a dedicated toddler area, party rooms, and comfortable seating area for parents, Our facility will adhere to the highest safety standards as we will implement rigorous cleanliness protocols to ensure a hygienic environment. Under the financing request, to bring this vision to light, they are seeking $300,000 to $400,000 in financing. They're open to discussions with either traditional banking institutions and starting a Lambton Business Development Corporation to secure the necessary funds. The funds will be allocated towards facility renovations, equipment acquisition, additional marketing efforts, and working capital to sustain operations during the initial month. Under repayment strategy, they're currently working on developing a comprehensive financial projections that outlines their revenue expectations and repayment strategy. Their conservative estimates will project a steady growth in revenue, allowing them to meet their financial obligation properly. And they say we're committed to transparency and regular communication with our financing partner to ensure a successful and mutually beneficial partnership. And to conclude, the applicant states that this presents a unique opportunity to invest in a business that not only fits a crucial gap in the market, but also contributes positively to the development and well-being of children in our community. They invite the Village of Point Edward to partner with us, creating a space where families can create lasting memories and children can thrive. He says, thank you for considering our proposal, and we look forward to discussing the exciting possibilities ahead.
Questions? Or are you done? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to.
Well, I understand from a preliminary conversation, if there's another way to deal with this, that would be less than 3 months. If council agrees to that type of business on that space. So are you aware of that?
So if I may.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had brief discussions. So this, what Jared just read to us, he only got late last week. We had a preliminary meeting about 2 weeks ago where the gentleman come in. So this information is fairly new to us. We talked with the manager of planning at the county a few days ago. And with the OPA and the zoning bylaw, the official plan amendment is what OPA is for those listening. There's notice periods for that. There's also a number of studies that would need to be done, including a planning justification report and a traffic study. And then there may be other things that are required. One of the options we can look at is having council direct staff to prepare a zoning bylaw amendment and official plan amendment. And if we do that, it doesn't cut down the time a whole lot, but it would cut down on the work required of the applicant. So given, it's zoned institutional, but it's basically been used commercial for the last, I don't know how many years, basically as long as it's been there. This proposed use is more of a commercial use. So if council was comfortable with the proposed use, we could direct staff to prepare an OPA and a ZBA and forego those studies, thereby making it a little bit simpler for the applicant. The timelines wouldn't change a whole lot. It might help a little bit because he wouldn't have to go and get that work. So that's, I think we wanted council to be aware that that might be a way we can help this gentleman out to get this business going. I think we need to wait until the meeting on Thursday, that Jared and Building Services having to kind of flesh it out a little bit. The one thing I haven't heard from this gentleman, maybe Jared has, is what his timeline is to get started. Because we're looking at probably a 3 to 4 month process to do a zoning bylaw amendment and an official plan amendment. Once it's submitted and deemed complete, we have 120 days to either approve or deny. So, I'm not sure how that's going to fit into this gentleman's timeline. We always try to work with people and do things as quickly as we can, but at the same time be thorough. So we just wanted to bring this proposal forward to council so you're aware of it, and that we might be trying to do some things to move things quicker because we felt it was an appropriate use for the property. The zoning bylaw just doesn't allow for it.
So considering, like one of my things was considering the amount of parking that's there, if they had a bus come in or something, there's that full parking lot. And all those hotels across the street would be a market, you know, for them. So I didn't see it as anything outrageous, but there's no trampolines and no rock wall. Counselor Burgess?
Do you know if they're going to sell food there?
Yeah, so that, in the executive summary, it
Yeah,
listed that there will be, concessions
Okay,
there, in the meeting, especially when we go through the application process, they're gonna have to be very specific on that.
just
Just
curious
so-
how that would affect the use if they had a kitchen or concession or something.
It shouldn't affect the use too much.
Okay,
It would fit under, it would be accessory to the main. So through the mayor, this use fits under a definition in our zoning bylaw called commercial recreation. Generally, an institutional zone only allows a passive recreational use, so anything regarding like a picnic area or an outside lot with structures for kids. Or like a pond or something for people to, you know, canoe, kayak, that type of thing. It's not used for these type of commercial recreation sites, which are like entertainment facilities, bowling alleys. That type of thing. That's how we see it as an entertainment. That's the main use that we kind of, you know, deemed for it, so. That's where the zoning bylaw amendment, you know, was needed there. The other thing I need to point out as well, that property is owned by the Federal Bridge Corporation. So the applicant will not be outright owning that property. He will be leasing it from them. So on the meeting on Thursday, he will be bringing in his real estate agent, which will be very beneficial for us in that meeting. So they'll be aware of the timelines needed for that as well. Because originally the applicant came in thinking that they were gonna get all the zoning and everything. They didn't understand the process. We're thinking they were gonna get it like in the beginning of March. But as Jim has mentioned too, this takes much longer than that. So hopefully this meeting, we're gonna give them a direction and we're gonna do the best we can to help them meet their goals in a suitable timeline.
Deputy Mayor Grimes?
Two questions through Jared. It's more a comment than a question, but when Sarnia Produce and Point Brewery did their work,
Yeah.
their proximity to the 402 and the highway caused them to do a lot more hoop jumping because they do MTO traffic studies.
Yeah.
Would this property be affected if we were to do stuff like that?
Possibly would be. It is close enough.
Because there is a ramp right beside the building too, right? So.
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe Greg Botting, who is our public works guy that takes care of it, because it's Venetian, I believe, and Jim can correct me if I'm wrong, it's a county road.
Yes.
So he would be commenting on that.
Okay.
Um,
I just mentioned it to alert the applicant that it.
It's a good point. I think the main difference is there is construction at
Right.
Sarnia Produce where any construction will just be internal.
Okay.
yeah,
So-
so he's not doing anything to the outside of the building. He's not like, it's not a tear down or rebuild
Right.
or anything. You're doing renovations to the inside. And I can't comment on what those requirements would be from a building perspective, because when you get to the inside of the property, they'll have their own requirements when you get to that stage.
Yeah.
But in terms of the zoning, we're definitely, the OPA and the ZBA are gonna be required for sure.
Okay. And my second question is, do we know if the applicant, is this a startup business for them or do they have other businesses in Ontario similar to this?
My understanding, this is a new venture for this
Okay,
gentleman.
right, thanks.
I don't know that for sure, but just the way he talked, I think this is a new.
And through the mayor, I can, like, I agree with Jim on that as well. Like, when he came in, it seemed like this is his first try at a business such as this.
Mhm.
So especially since he's not experienced in this field as well, we just want to make sure that this is something that would work here.
Okay, thank you.
And just having a meeting, going through with building and everything and having everybody on board at once is just gonna have this process go by smoothly. And as I said to you, I've looked at the site, you got the hotels around there. If I didn't think that this would be a valuable use to the area, we wouldn't be going through with. We wouldn't be telling the applicant to go through with this.
So any other questions?
I have none. All I'm gonna say is that, sounds like an exciting opportunity for the village. To have this within our boundaries. You're saying there's a captive audience across the hoop house.
Yeah.
Hockey tournaments, kids are looking to what to do during the day, right? Send birthday parties. I think it's you know, I'm very interested to see how the further discussions go.
Oh, and through the mayor, and that will be up to the applicant, especially up to the application point to the time that he presents his application at the council meeting. He will need to make that case too, of what types of, you know, what he'll be offering in his facility. What the concessions will be and how this will benefit as well. I'll do it from a zoning perspective as well, but that will be up to him to prove to you guys.
So next steps then is to wait
Wait and see how the meeting
what
goes
the
on
recommendation
Thursday.
comes.
Yeah.
Jared?
And through the mayor, more going to Jim. Once we have that information, we've gone through the meeting. In terms of, you know, notifying council about this, how do we proceed in that way?
Well, I think we'll wait to see how things go on Thursday. See, you know, what his timelines are. And we'll just kind of take it day by day and work with the guy and see how fast we can move things along. But a report coming back to council. I'm slightly concerned that the timeline is going to chase the man away.
I think so too, yeah.
That's my concern. So, you know, I agree that this would make good use of that facility. I would like to help the man out and get things moving as quickly as possible. But I am concerned. So see how it goes on Thursday. And then if he's willing to work with us in the timelines we can provide, then away we go.
Because realistically, we're looking at 6 months for opening, if like between
Well,
3 to 4 months for us to do our rezoning,
exactly.
couple months of construction.
Yeah.
Like that's,
If we go that route.
Yeah.
That's why that we're offering, there's a shorter time.
But it's
But
not a shorter
but-
That
timeline.
was shorter.
It might be
Okay,
a few days, like
okay,
where the difference is
all
if
those
we,
days.
yeah, he's gonna have to go get a traffic impact
Yeah.
study. If we determine that's not needed, that'll
Okay.
like, it might save a few weeks at the start, but the
Okay.
notice timeline is still the same. The appeal timeline after
Okay.
is still the same. So it may be a bit quicker, but
But we still have that study that we did, that Venetian was one of the roads that we focused on from Paradigm.
yeah, that information
may
is
still be
there.
current and
There might be
might save
something
us
in there
that.
that might use.
Yeah.
so we'll wait and hear how the next step goes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for bringing the information to us.
No problem.
Good luck on Thursday.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
Okay, so next item is adoption of minutes. And that's council minutes from January 23rd, 2024.
I'll move the adoption.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Seconded. Questions? All in favor? Thank you. And was there any business arising from those minutes? Okay. Financial report. General operations, January 2024.
I'll move that the total revenues and general operations for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $93,781.38 be approved. And that the total expenditures and general operations for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $549,533.93 be approved.
Seconded. Questions? All in favor? Next one is environmental services.
I can do that for Councillor Doctor. On behalf of Councillor Doctor, that the total revenues in environmental services for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $501,781.74 be approved. And that the total expenditures in environmental services for the month of January 2024 in the amount of $114,195.48 be approved. And furthermore, that updated financial statements for the month of December 2023 showing revenues of $188,008.54 and expenditures of $682,213.03 be received and filed.
I'll
Thank
second.
you. All in favor? Okay, move on to committee reports, and the first one is Operations Committee from February 13th.
I'll move that the operations committee minutes from February 13th be approved as circulated.
seconded by Council Burgess. Questions?
I've got some highlights from those minutes. McCray backstop was mentioned and we're putting a replacement in and it will not have an angled hood. It'll be 24 feet in height. And the area will be monitored regarding any balls that are hit onto the roadway. And for possible changes later if necessary. At a discussion that's going to be brought up again at our March meeting on the arena rental rate increase. And that will, your CAO is investigating an umbrella insurance rates for user groups to include in the rental rates for 2020 to 24 and 25. The CAO is also investigating recycle fees, billing from Sarnia. We haven't been billed since June 2023. Just want to understand if there is funds owing there. Blue Water Grand Fondo Slow Roll event is going to be held again in 2024 on Sunday, June 9th at 2 p.m. And they will be using part of the village and the OPP are supporting this event. And a very recent occurrence is the new speed sign's been installed on Michigan Ave heading west at Arthur. And I want to thank the Public Works staff for the work they've done to get that installed up and working. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, all in favor? Move on to Fire Committee.
I'll move that the minutes of the fire committee meeting held on February 13th, 2024 be approved as circulated.
Seconded by Council Burgess.
I just have one highlight. The chief advocacy officer for the Canadian National Fireworks Association joined our meeting and presented some information on, as part of our call for comments on the fireworks bylaw revisions, possible revisions. And we also received about 30 comments from residents for and against. So we'll take all those comments under advisement and move forward with the bylaw. The existing bylaw is being revised. I just want to make sure everybody knows that there is a bylaw.
Yeah.
We're just revisiting it. That's all.
Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Environmental Services, February 13th.
You're the previous chair.
I was.
So do it.
And
Good.
I move that the environmental services meeting of February 13th minutes be adopted as printed.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I have a question,
Sorry.
if I may. What is the status of the manager's relocation? The comments are pretty strong in there that it's hazardous and unsafe, and the recommendation that he relocate. Where are we at?
So we've had a bit of a discussion about it. He was away last week, so nothing happened, but we're investigating the possibility of moving either to the arena or the public works office.
Okay, yeah, Jason just came back from vacation. Next one is Finance.
I'll move that the minutes of the finance committee meeting held February 13th, 2024 be approved as circulated.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
Gearing up for the budget.
All in favor? Okay, move down to communications, receive and file 1 through 5.
Also moved.
Okay.
36 now as well.
Oh,
But we wanted it pulled out anyway, so that would.
okay, yeah, I printed mine off earlier, sorry. Okay, so what, we'll just deal with 1 through 5 at the moment. Counselor Mondu seconded, all in favor? Okay, so these are just the AMO watch file reports. Number 6.
I'll move that the St. Clair Region Conservation Authority annual report be received and filed.
Second that.
And highlights, I just wanted to touch a couple highlights. So the annual general meeting was held in Florence, Ontario last week. And Conservation Authority is quite proud of the work that was done that year. The authority reached almost 22,000 students through our conservation education program by offering virtual and schoolyard programs, in addition to traditional field trips to the Lawrence C. Henderson Conservation Area. Conservation Authority has been continuing important shoreline protection work along Lake Huron and at our St. Clair River shorelines in collaboration with St. Clair Township and the city of Sarnia to help reduce erosion that can threaten important municipal infrastructure. Over 200 permits were issued and provided comments on over 200 Planning Act applications to support a safe and resilient development in the region. Released the 10,000th turtle hatchling back into the wild since 2016 as part of the captive hatch release program. The authority planted over 70,000 trees and supported 41 stewardship projects, and overall improved visitor experience and accessibility by upgrading trails and other amenities to allow everyone to enjoy and connect with the outdoors.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. And move on to new business. 2023 year-end resolution.
I'm not sure how council would like to go. Would you like to go through these one by one or?
There's two separate pages. One's water
Yes,
and then one is in finance.
Yeah.
So I thought they should be separated.
that'd
But
be-
if we need to go through each line on the attached sheet,
Mhm.
do we need to?
It's whatever council is comfortable with.
I published in the notes here. Everybody can look at it if they
Mhm.
wanted to.
Personally, I think we can move them all, but we can just ask questions of them individually at the point in time.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's 10 different lines on here, the different reserves. Are you gonna share it on the screen?
I am going to, at least the public will be able to see it.
Yeah.
And you guys all have it in front of you.
Seconder?
Oh, Council Mondu seconds it. So this is accounting. Outstanding business, to deal with year end from the accounting perspective.
There's moved in second, or questions?
So
Are we?
questions,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, through you, Mayor Hand, just item 8, the 50,000 for overspent projects, was that one? Mainly one project was overspent, or is that just a whole bunch of little ones that were overspent?
I don't have that
Okay.
detail in front of me.
It's not that-
I can,
On my head, I was thinking about the arena.
Roof,
That
I
one,
think that would
we
be
had
in
an
there.
arena project
Yeah.
in Schiller, I believe,
And the roof,
that came up unexpectedly, and it was probably, I don't know.
and the roof is
That's-
over almost 30,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was probably about half of that was
Okay.
just the
Okay.
extra work on the roof.
Okay, thank
So,
you, that's all.
So. Want it, group them?
Yeah, Paul moved
Yeah,
one.
just
Yeah,
move
so
one to
group-
10 for
Yeah,
that
one, okay,
first one, and then to do the water separately.
okay, so. The resolutions 1 through 10. All in favor? That's carried. And then resolutions 11 to 22.
No,
No?
no, there's only one there. There's just one resolution.
Oh,
on the
sorry,
Water.
sorry, I'm looking at these numbers, not
Oh,
these
no.
numbers.
And
So
I'll-
there's a second report that has one motion. It's the $10,000 surplus from the water department.
yeah, and I'll move that.
Of course. Oh, sorry. Because it's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Second, Councilman Mondu. Any questions? Okay, all in favor? Thank you.
And then the second item was that the discussions we've had ongoing discussions about conflict of interest. So I was in touch with our integrity commissioner. And he said it'll be much cheaper for you to talk to me on the phone than it will be for me to do a typed up response to your inquiries. So I prepared the report that talks about the different circumstances of conflict of interest. So I guess everyone's had a chance to read the report. See if it's going to open. Just give me a minute. So the three examples I gave him were Mayor Hand with the Laws Board and Councillor Grimes being a volunteer with Point Edward Minor, and then Councillor Noctor being a member of the parent council. So one of the key things that the integrity commissioner talked about was if you are appointed to an outside board by council, you do not need to declare a conflict when those items come before you. So, and I talked to him about the presentation he made in Wyoming that day, where he said, you know, if you're on an outside board, you do need to declare a conflict. And he did mention that day about there are exemptions, but he didn't go into what the exemptions were. And he said, you know, he told me, he's like, this is one of the clear exemptions is if you're appointed by that council to represent the village on that board, you don't declare a conflict. And then the other one is in the case of deputy mayor on volunteering with the board, he's not a member of that, of Point Edward Minor, he's a volunteer with them and he has nothing to gain. So we said there's actually an exemption that would cover that too, in terms of it's to the benefit of the municipality and the community when our elected officials get involved in the community. So he said specifically when you're a volunteer and not a board member, that you would not need to declare a conflict. So by that advice, I would say in all three cases that were mentioned here, the conflicts did not need to be declared. I think we were justified when we did it because the advice we'd been given in the past didn't talk about the exemptions. So you're not wrong by declaring a conflict,
It's a safer
but
way.
it's ideal. I mean, the more we can have counselors involved in all discussions, the better off we are. So, now the one thing he did talk about was, making a presentation to council at some time if you would like, and he'd be more than happy to make the presentation. He's done it a number of times to other municipalities, so the billing would be just for his time to make the presentation. There's no prep time needed. He'd just, so if you're interested in having him make that presentation to us, he'd be more than willing to do that.
Is this gonna be any different than what was presented before, though?
It would go into more detail because he says about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on questions from council members, where the presentation he made in Wyoming was 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So he said he'd go into a lot more detail about things like the exemptions. It would have time to give more examples and stuff. So he would cover everything that he covered in Wyoming, but go into more detail with it for us.
It just seems like there's some gray area that's subject to interpretation, just because I'll read if, you know, if there's anything in different municipalities that have come up, because I want to see what they've gone through.
Mhm.
And sometimes it seems like there's subject to interpretation.
There absolutely is, like with any legislation, there's always, it's always subject to, I mean, you put it very well, it's always subject to interpretation. You know, I think a couple of things, I'm not really supposed to provide advice on declaring conflicts of interest. If you have a question, you should be contacting the integrity commissioner. Problem with that is he doesn't come cheap. It's and
We did
you know.
that, we did a sample one time, probably before, I don't know.
I think I
how long.
remember that. Yes.
So it was over Monk Street and what I was thinking. So we used me as a test case and that phone call and advice back was $900 and some to get an answer that I did have a conflict.
Because you own property.
Yeah,
And
next
you're
to
in
the
the- you're in
tennis
the
court,
neighborhood.
like the tennis court issue. But $900 and some, we weren't on the phone that long.
so, and we don't have to, you can give it some
Yeah.
thought. I can bring it back at a future meeting if you want, or you know, it's completely up to council how they want to proceed with it.
I think we're fine now. I think that after the next election, if we have any new members of council, then we should probably do it within the first meeting or second meeting of the term, so that everyone's on the same page then. If it's the same group reelected, then I don't think it's as necessary, but it'd be interesting to hear what he charged for an hour and a half. He'd Zoom, obviously, he wouldn't drive
Yeah,
down here.
that's
so-
right.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking about,
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about them, I forgot.
I believe it's raised $800 an hour.
yeah. So
But
Anyway,
we combined with another municipality.
So,
Years
yeah,
ago.
5 years ago, like when the term where deputy mayor and Councillor Mondu joined, we partnered with Petrolia. this term, we did it at the county
Yeah.
with every municipality, everybody was invited. So,
Does everybody have the same integrity commissioner though?
no,
This is where I get into the interpretation
That-
part of it, where one person might see the world one way and then we have a different person. That's why if our integrity commissioner is the same with maybe a neighboring municipality and we could split it,
mhm,
that might be more economical.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah, so
so
we should just,
could mull it over, and if at such time you want to do the presentation, or we leave it for a future.
Just make a motion to receive and file.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you. Okay, community, anybody have any new business? I have a couple of community things I want to mention.
I have a couple new business questions.
Okay,
Through you to the CEO, just regarding St. Clair Street. Have letters gone out to the homes regarding the water service project? Like,
no,
okay,
we're
And-
meeting with the contractor on Thursday. And hopefully we'll be in a little bit better position at that point to, but no, there hasn't been anything going on yet.
but the letters, are they tied to talking to the contractor? I thought that was just,
Yeah, I suppose not. Yeah,
I think the clock is ticking on those letters and we want the people to be like
Yeah.
right up to speed on that. And if they're gonna do it, like we talked about giving them time to save up money if they need it or find financing or whatever.
okay.
And then, so you're meeting third, so the next question was the timeline when it will be shared with businesses,
Mhm.
residents, something in that route.
And that's gonna be a very difficult thing to do. I mean, with the weather we're having now, people think we can start next week and maybe we can, but it's hard to give them a date at this point in time. That's one where the meeting on Thursday might help a lot to get where the contractor's head is at and that kind of thing. So I think we'll be in a better position at that time.
I get that, but I would think that McNally must have a start date in their head.
I would think so too.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
we should know about, and that we should be sharing with people. And even if it moves a week or two either way, I think we've got to start communicating with those residents and those businesses that this is truly happening and here's the date it's happening as tentatively.
Mhm.
And because I think there's people are asking questions is what's going on, right? They're seeing trees cut down, they're seeing hydro wires being moved, but I think we need to get a date out there. So that's my comment there.
hopefully Thursday will be
Yeah,
the reckoning.
And what end are we starting?
yeah, all that. Good.
Well, unless it's changed.
Yeah, the plan
It's the
all
plan.
along, or for quite a while has been at front and
Yeah.
light.
Just so they know how that's gonna kind of creep down the street.
And I see the sign that Christine in Michigan is gone. Is the new light being, has that been work ordered?
We've talked about it a bit. There's nothing final has been decided on it, but it's been looked at.
Okay. All right, that's all I have under new business, Mayor Hand.
This Sunday is the annual Mariner service at the Anglican Church. It's at 10 o'clock. Anybody that can go. I'm out of town.
I'll be there, but
Okay,
I plan on being there.
in my Coast Guard costume, but I'll be there. as
yeah,
well.
I'm going to Blankenese for the weekend for birthday, so. And I did let Sheila know that I couldn't come. It's probably first one of these for a while. Just for information, county budget is March the 6th. Village budget is March 21st. And regarding St. Clair Street, just wanted to mention, in case anybody's noticed, the red light's gone from up high, the warning light.
At Michigan and St.
So
Clair.
Michigan and St. Clair, just if anybody notices, it's gone as part of, Blue Water Power took it down kind of as part of the getting ready. And then they're taking down some more trees this week. Any trees that come down, I mean, trees are coming down that need to come down, but new trees will be planted, so. It's not a matter of eliminating trees, it's just where they need to be moved. So if you see that activity, that's part of the prep. And I didn't even notice the red light was gone.
Either that, until something.
Somebody mentioned it to me.
Do you know why they did it so early? If that's the last
I-
phase?
I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
actually, but
I was surprised by it too. I mean, I know Blue Water Power was in doing other work that had to be done, so I guess it was on their list of things that they had to do to facilitate the project, so they just did it.
And the weather was good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all.
I think it was done quite a while ago.
It's been done,
I
it's
saw
been down for
the
two
crew
or
out
three
there, but
months.
I never paid any
Maybe.
attention until I was asked the question.
Yeah, I didn't, I saw them in the corner, didn't realize what they were doing and just.
Never looked up.
Yeah, and then, yeah, 3 weeks later, somebody's where'd the light go?
Does anybody else have anything new?
Okay.
So just thinking ahead, I'm going on vacation March 25th. So I will miss the next council meeting. I'm going to Zoom it. But Deputy Mayor Grimes will be chairing that meeting. And I'm just going to hear it from afar, so. That's all I know for now. Okay. So the next thing is, bylaws.
No,
Yeah, but there aren't any.
There aren't any.
we have to go-
And we're going into closed session to discuss personnel matters as we're allowed to under the act. So this is the end of the televised portion of our meeting.
I'll move.
Thank you.